Okay, our speaker for today is our very own David Schmidt, and he'll be speaking from level 1, pathways, researching and planning, and the title of his speech today is A Penny for Your Thoughts. And let us welcome David Schmidt.
Thank you, Roger. When I was a wee lad, I grew up in Western New York. I grew up in suburbia. My parents frequented a small grocery store called the Main and Transit Fruit Market. It was a small grocery store. It had a deli counter. It had an island checkout area with 2 cash registers. Just beyond the cash registers was that standard classic pedestal gumball machine with the glass or probably plastic globe on top with all the gumballs inside. I'd ask my dad for that penny, that coveted coin, that magical coin. You knew other coins are worth more, but this one was special, at least to me. You could buy yourself something with it, a treat. But this isn't a story about nostalgia. This is a story about a transformation of a coin from something that was treasured to something that is scarcely acknowledged. The penny started in 1793. It was 100% copper, and it was the size of today's half dollar. It was 100% copper until the 1850s, then became 95% copper. And it was 95% copper all up until 1982, where it became 2.5% copper. So today's penny is 98% zinc and 2% copper. The original heads of the penny were various for the first 50 years, and then the famous Indian head penny came on in the mid-1850s. And then in 1909, Abraham Lincoln, as we have today, adorns the head. But this is not a story about numismatics. That's the study of coins, if you don't know. It's a hard word for me to pronounce. This is a story about change. The change of something that once had worth to something that's barely worth anything. In 1900, you could, oh boy, I'm losing my coins here. I thought I had another one. Here it is. In 1900, you could buy a newspaper for a penny. In 1923, you could buy a postage stamp for a penny, for a postcard. Also around the time that that pedestal gumball machine came out, you could buy a gumball for a 20. You could buy a gumball for a penny, for 1 cent. In 1950, 5 of these could buy you a cup of coffee. But enough about inflation. We all know where that is today. Because this is not a story about inflation. This is a story about devaluation. Today, as it has been since 2005, our penny is worthless. Not necessarily the value. It's obviously 1/100th of a dollar. You can bundle them up and buy something. But the coin itself, that circular piece of copper-plated zinc, is a deceptive monetary unit. It costs more to produce that thing than what it's worth. For the past 15 years, it's cost between 1.4 and 2.7 cents to produce a penny. That depends on the year, based upon the metals and distribution costs. So quick, in your head, think about or guess how many pennies that we produce every year or every day in this country. 500,000, 2 million, 10 million. We produce 15 million pennies every single day. 5.5 billion pennies a year, down from 8 billion 2 years ago. So some quick math at 5.5 billion times 2 cents is about, or I think 2.5 cents is about $150 million we spend on pennies a year. Which isn't much when you think about it in the grand scheme of things of our government, how much we spend in the military or other costs, but how far could $150 million go towards some schools or some impoverished families? Comparatively speaking, the nickel costs 10 cents. Ironically, the dime costs 5 cents to make now. The quarter costs 11, The $50 I have in my pocket here costs 17. And the dollar coin, which lasts 10 times longer than the paper dollar, costs 30 cents to produce. Now, besides the fact that minting the penny and the nickel is financially irresponsible, maybe why are some other reasons that we should eliminate this coin? Well, we'd save on precious metals. We'd have less coins in our pocket all the time. We'd save time at the register. Think of my times we're looking for that penny or that nickel, or trying to find a penny, or waiting for someone else to try to get exact change. What if we just round everything to the nearest dime or quarter or nearest dollar? Do we really care what a can of Pepsi costs when we're thirsty? $1 or $2? So what can we do? Well, we can lobby our government, hope for change that way. We can make use of those little penny trays. We can tell our friends and family. We can start a movement. Let's get rid of the penny. No, probably not. I don't have a good solution besides enacting legislation. It's got to start from our government. But regardless of any short-term or long-term plans, I can tell you this, that this penny right here, this coin, it just doesn't make any sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, for a thought-provoking speech and making a nexus between the penny and your childhood. Now let us give 2 minutes on the clock for our evaluation. Do we still do that?